Hey, it's Mr. Willis, and I'm going to show you the paintbrush in Photoshop. One of the more basic tools, but can be useful, but one you want to kind of be careful with. So, first of all, just to select the paintbrush, it's the one over here that looks kind of like a paintbrush, and I'm going to click on it. And like many of our other tools, we have some options up here at the top. Oops, it went away from the paintbrush. Let's get back to it. There we go. So there's my paintbrush options up here at the top. So first of all, this one is kind of what they call brush presets, so kind of some pre-made ones that they have for you. Notice the difference in how they look. So like this one is a size 19 and it's solid. You see how it's if I were to draw with this one, it's just kind of a solid circle. The next one, another one I want to look at here is this one that's similar size, right? 21, but you see how it has a fuzzy edge to it. If I draw with this one, you see how it's not so solid on the edges. So these fuzzy ones can be really useful if I'm doing some blending, and the more solid edge ones are good if I'm wanting to just, kind of draw something straight on. I'm going to undo both of those because they're just kind of random up there. Next thing I can change, let's go back to a solid one, is the size. So right now it's set at 19 pixels, and you saw that's about so big. The size, how big each brush is going to look, is going to vary on how big your original picture was. So sometimes a 19 might actually look kind of big, whereas with some other pictures a 19 will be teeny tiny. Okay, but you'll notice if I were to turn this up to 46, there I've got a pretty big brush at that point. For what I'm going to do here, with my really small picture, I'm actually going to turn this all the way down to about a 6. What I'm thinking I'm going to try here is I'm going to use this brush to kind of draw over my one laser cannon here, because you see how it just didn't turn out that great. So I'm going to see if I can clean it up a little bit. If I'm going to brush in a little area like this, something else that I like to do is use my magnifying tool and just take a closer look. Okay, now I can get a better look at what I'm doing. So now I'll switch back to my brush. It's still set on size 6. And also, in case you didn't notice, it was painting red. That's because my color down here is set to red. If I click on this box, I can pick pretty much any color that I want. Or if I want to reuse a color that's already on my picture, I just wave my mouse over it, and you see how it's turned into a little eyedropper? That means it will select whatever color is right there. So I could select that red, or even select this kind of dark blue that I used earlier. Let's go back to the red. So now I'm going to try and trace right over my little laser cannon. So I'm going to just click, very carefully draw over it. Now you'll see there, I did my best, but it's still a little crooked, right? That's why I wanted you to see this, and it's important that you only use your brush for little touch-up things. Like, I think it's really good for maybe a very tiny bits, like say this little engine down here is actually a better use of it. See, I could kind of fill that in, just that small bit, but not mess too much up. So be careful, especially if you're trying to draw the whole thing with the brush. Especially if you're doing something like a logo, we don't want it to look messy. We want nice, clean shapes. So I'm going to leave that one there, but let me show you an alternative just while I have this in here looking at it. You've probably seen another video where I talked about basic shapes like the rectangles or polygons or the line. I'm going to pick the line tool. I'm going to set a similar size, about 5 pixels, and I'm just going to draw a line that goes across here. And now I can use my move tool on that line. That's the thing with the paintbrush. I can't grab what I just painted. It's like it's basically painted onto the background now. But the line, I can actually move it around a little bit, and you see how much more solid it is. And so that is actually probably going to be a better solution for this laser cannon. So let that be a lesson. Use the right tool for the right job as much as possible. If you're doing something with logos, you want to get things as solid as possible. You want nice, clean shapes. So hope that's useful, and have fun.